What's going on, weenies? Welcome back to Wiener Workouts. I'm sorry, I actually uploaded a video or a live stream just now, but for some reason, you guys were not able to hear the audio, like at all. Like, seriously, the 20 minutes that just went by, you guys could not hear a single thing from the video that I was trying to debunk. But nonetheless, we're back here again, and I think I've gotten a few points that I want to reiterate. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see the lasagna that I ate, but it's whatever. We have to move on from there. So today we're going to be debunking AlphaDestiny's neck training is essential video. Oh, you heard me. Yeah, but I don't think you were able to hear the AlphaDestiny video. I went back and rewatched it, and I couldn't hear his voice at all. I can only hear my own. So that being said, we're going to have to redo it and see if this thing works out any better. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Okay. This is the video that we're going to be watching. So here we go.
If you want the biggest neck possible, neck training is 100% mandatory.
It is absolutely not mandatory. Neck training, yeah, he doesn't matter though. Yeah, neck training is not mandatory. Not direct neck training if you want a big neck. So he's absolutely wrong on that point.
There is no way around it.
There's many ways around it, actually.
I don't care if you have a naturally thick neck. I don't care how good your genetics are. I don't care if you're taking a bunch of drugs. Nor does your status matter to me.
Let me stop right there. He's got a very good point. Status really doesn't matter. He's absolutely right on that. Here at Wiener Workouts, we really don't care about the looks. We don't care about the reputation. We only care about how we feel. So he's right on that point. I got to give credit where credit is due. Got a comment. Hench herbivore still has yet to debunk male lactation. Thoughts? Yeah, I would ask him to provide evidence to the contrary. Otherwise, his arguments are dismissed. Just saying. Okay.
If you never isolate your neck, you haven't hit your potential, period, end of discussion.
Why would you want to hit your potential? Why, period, why, end of discussion?
And I would challenge anyone who already has a large circumference to train your neck very seriously for 1 year and record the before and after measurements. Irrespective of your training background, irrespective of what your conditions are, I can absolutely promise you with 100% certainty, I guarantee this, that your neck size will improve.
No, duh. If you train any body part for a year, it's going to improve. But why would you want to do that? You're like, you're promoting a winner mindset. We're not about that here at Wiener Workouts. Be realistic, man.
And of course, the strength will as well. This idea that you can get the biggest neck possible just through doing pulls and just getting strong as a whole is nonsense.
How is that nonsense? Deadlifts, rack pulls, pull-ups, that's nonsense?
And anyone who tells you that has no experience with neck training and therefore no credibility when talking about this subject.
Oh, with all your experience in neck training and your credentials. Okay, buddy, I'd rather listen to you than, I don't know, hundreds of other people that train their entire body and have thick necks.
Listen to people who have real experience with neck training, not those who just speculate from the outside view, all right? In fact, let's talk about what happens if you build a large neck naturally through direct means, but then you stop working it. Guess what? You'll lose a lot of those gains.
This guy is... What's he doing? He's stating the obvious here, is he not? If you stop working a certain body part, you're going to lose gains. No freaking duh. You're trying to give me a cake and then put more icing on it to tell me that it's not a cake unless it has icing. Does that make sense? You're basically giving me a product saying if you stop using that product on it, it no longer becomes that product. Well, of course, a cake cannot be a cake unless you put icing on it. But what he's essentially doing is putting more icing on top of icing.
Do you know who maintains their thick neck? You guessed it. Those who never trained to begin with, or those who naturally got it bigger through indirect means.
Those who never trained it to begin with are the ones that have the big necks. So what's the point of this video? If they're not training their neck directly and they're the ones having the big necks day in and day out, year after year, what's the point of training it? This guy literally debunked himself in less than 5 minutes. No, sorry. So his video has been 1 minute and 20 seconds. Less than a minute.
But if you build a larger neck through direct work and then you discontinue the practice, it shrinks.
Whoa, no kidding. If you work a certain muscle group and then you stop working it, it goes away? Oh my god, dude. Please tell me more about things that I don't know of.
This is exactly what happened to me and hundreds of people who contact me on a daily basis. They start getting a little cocky, right? They see their neck is getting bigger and they're like, I'm going to get lazy now. I'm going to stop training. They lose a lot of the gains. And some people, it's the same for the calves. They get some...
You notice this? You guys notice this, right? Look at what he's doing here. He's taking two identical pictures and photoshopping their necks. That is sheer dishonesty. Look at the difference in Channing Tatum right here. You see his neck? The one on the left looks way more realistic than the one on the right. And he's photoshopping the one on the right.
Nice, solid calf development. And they say, okay, I'm not going to train calves anymore. Screw it. They'll maintain by walking. They stop doing it. They lose some gains. Now, are you going to lose 100%? Obviously not. You'll maintain some gains, absolutely.
That, my friends, is a true wiener workout.
But it won't be optimal, and that should be proof in itself that you need to isolate it, okay? The heavy pulls are not enough.
Provide evidence. If not, I'm dismissing your argument because, as we all know, an argument deployed without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
They are not enough, man. You have to isolate your neck. Minimum with neck flexion. Minimum doing the neck curl. Adding the other stuff like the neck extension and maybe the side stuff would be beneficial. But at the bare minimum, you should be training your neck with neck flexion at least once or twice a week. Minimum once a week. Can you at least do that? And of course, inducing progressive overload. You got a 5-pound neck curl, bring it up, you know? The point is, you need to isolate your neck for maximum gains. Now,
okay, so I understand where he's coming from, although it's fallacious and completely false, right, about everything he's been saying. My question is, why is it that you're trying to get maximum gains? What are you going after? What is the deal here? Why can't you just be a wiener, accept reality, move on with your life, and if something comes along the way, then it comes? But why are you trying to chase after something without a specific goal in mind? What is the reasoning behind maximizing your neck potential?
what if you're already happy with your current neck size and you don't want to risk getting sleep apnea, or you just like the aesthetic of it and you just don't want any more thickness? Then you know what? You do you. You do you. But I'll be the first to tell you that if you isolated it, it will get bigger. So you got 18 naturally, you'll bring it up to 19, no problem, okay? No matter what your circumstances are, it will improve with direct work. In fact, this should get you thinking, right? There are high school wrestlers, okay? Think about this for a second. Teenagers. These are not full adults. Fucking teenagers, bro. Who have relatively skinny bodies, but horse necks.
What are you trying to say? Teenage boys with thick necks and small bodies, okay? What are you trying to say?
Necks that are equivalent to some of the best pullers in the world. Why is that the case? Well, because they're isolating the neck.
What? That is absolutely 100% not the case. Wrestlers, what? Teenage boys do neck isolation exercises? Let me be the first to tell you that I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for over a month now, and I can tell you that my neck is being developed without isolating my neck. It's from the nature of the sport. You're gonna get a bigger neck. It's that simple. You're tossing people around, you're flipping over, you're bear hugging the guy, like your head is in the ground, they're trying to choke you, something. Like your neck is going to grow from the nature of the sport, not because of the direct exercise. This guy's talking absolute nonsense.
Same thing for some field athletes. They have a harness. They use it on a daily basis. They don't want to get any concussions, or at least minimize some injuries, head injuries. So they train their necks. You have a lot of these football players coming out of high school with super duper thick necks, and it's not because they're shrugging, okay? It's because they're isolating their neck.
I'm so done. We've only been 10 minutes into the stream, 3 minutes into the video, and this guy is telling you that the football players in high school have big necks because they isolate them during their exercises. Are you sure it's not because they're doing deadlifts? Are you sure it's not because they're doing rack pulls? Are you sure it's not because they're doing overhead presses? It has to be related to neck work. Do you know how many neck extension machines there are in a gym? You're telling me a team of 65 students, a team of 65 players on a high school football team have giant necks because they all share the neck exercise machine, or because they use the plates to directly, work their necks? No, absolutely not. And that doesn't even come close to the fact that you're giving people advice on neck training and you're using teenage boys as your example. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it honestly sounds like Alex from Alpha Destiny is promoting a wiener mindset through subliminal messages. He's giving you guys a subconscious thought that maybe you should be a wiener and not a winner. He's telling you to rely on 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and 17-year-old teenage boys for neck advice. It's comedy writing itself, you guys. Let's keep watching.
And the same thing for the wrestlers. Some of these dudes are really weak at pulls. You'd be surprised. In fact, there are some novices, all right, who have skinny bodies, super wide necks. Now, you may not find that to be the most aesthetic look, but it strikes an important point. With direct work, you can get your neck to an equivalent size to a guy who's on a bunch of drugs, who's mastered the pulls, but he never isolated his neck.
Why would you want your neck to be at the equivalent of a man who is trying to be a winner? Why are you trying to promote this idea that you need to look good and to have a thick neck so that you can compare yourself to somebody that's trying to be better than you? I don't understand it. He's just throwing words out there without providing any evidence or reasoning as to why you should be doing these exercises. This is detrimental advice at its finest, you guys. It's terrible.
That's how important it is. That's how crazy it is. The fact that you can get 18, 19 inches easily with direct work. Whereas a guy who takes a bunch of drugs and he's at the elite level of pulls has similar development? Does that make any sense? Like, whoa!
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. It makes absolute 100 complete sense. The guy that has a tiny body and a thick neck is only working one part of his body, whereas the other guy that's been training for years and doing all these other things is not focusing on his neck, because the neck is going to come naturally. Just like you do rack pulls, just like you do... He mentioned it himself like a year ago, 2 years ago, that you need to do weighted stretching in order to get a bigger neck in traps. You need to do weighted stretching. Rack pulls, deadlifts, and even overhead presses do the job. So why are you telling people to do direct neck work when there's other methods of attaining it? It makes sense. A skinny guy that wrestles and does direct neck work, of course, is going to have a bigger neck because it's going to make all the other body parts appear smaller.
That's mind-blowing.
No, it's not.
I reference some elite guy on drugs who already has a thick neck. I'm going to say, go to a high school and look at the guys in the wrestling practice.
There he goes again. He's telling you guys to listen to a teenage boy for advice and to watch them, because he's clearly been to every single high school in the United States and in Canada, and he's seen that every single teenage boy has a thick neck and that their way of achieving it was through direct neck work.
Right? And see how thick their necks are. Remember, these are teenagers, bro. Fucking teenagers who have massive necks. And this is not the exception, it's the norm. And I don't want to hear the drug excuse either, okay? A lot of them are 100% natural, and they still have these super thick necks. And I get testimonials all the time, people sending me the before and after pics, okay? And a lot of these guys are young men.
Are they sending you the before and after pics like you showed us earlier in this video with Bill Goldberg and Channing Tatum, giving them the same image and then photoshopping the neck?
Which is why I also recommend that novices train their neck very seriously, because when you hit the intermediate stage, it'll be one of your best body parts easy. Neck is not that difficult to grow, guys. It really isn't. If you train directly, you'll see improvements fast. 1-2 inches, you'll gain no problem, okay? So whether your starting point is strong or weak, you can make improvements if you isolate it. And never, ever, ever listen to these minimalist guys who say that just doing pulls is optimal, that you don't have to isolate your neck. It's bullshit. It's misinformation. It's nonsense. It's people who have zero experience with neck training.
So what he's going for here is optimal. This is the thing that I hate about the term optimal. People use it so frequently as if it's holy doctrine, as if that's what you need to do. Why does it always have to be the optimal diet? Why does it always have to be optimal strength? What's this? Yeah, he's the type of guy to give his girlfriend kisses. Like, he's a wiener in disguise. And I think I might have to make a Wiener Warriors video on him. Again, like, I say this a million times. He's the type of dude, right? Like Flugy Hopper saying here, how he presents himself as an alpha male, but he's a beta on the inside. And we can see through it because we tried to be like that. We tried to be alphas, but we realized that we can't escape reality and that deep down inside that we're betas. So he should change his name to Beta Destiny. I know that joke's been overdone a million times, but now it's not a joke. It's serious. This guy's a wiener, you guys.
Because anyone who's actually isolated it will tell you that it gets bigger when you do this, and it's better when you combine neck training with your other stuff for optimal gains, okay? I'm talking about optimal here, all right? So start isolating that neck, build it up, check out my yoke playlist or my naturally enhanced program for a complete comprehensive guide. And with that said, I'll talk to you all in the next video.
And that's that, you guys. Yeah, that's enough of Alpha Destiny for one day. So what did we learn? We learned that this guy is trying to teach our audience how to get a bigger neck. Oh, what's going on, young Damien? This guy's trying to teach us how to get a bigger neck. For what reason, we don't know. He mentioned in his previous videos how he wanted people to get a bigger neck because it prevents injuries, it looks better. Like, all of these reasons don't make any sense in the real world. Whereas if you're a wiener and you just show up to the gym and you don't care about optimal strength, but you just care about your genuine health and how you feel, then that's all that matters. Why is it important to have a big neck? He didn't answer. And even if he did answer, I bet you his reasoning is flawed. Big time. He debunked himself in less than a minute in his own video. We saw through it in 5-6 minutes. And that was it. And you know what? For the record, just let me move the mic out of the way. Does this, right? You see this neck? Right? You see it? Does that look like a neck that's been done through direct neck work? Does that look like something that's been developed through direct means? Obviously not. Look at my shoulders, right? You see the traps? They're not there, right? They're not like, you know, Cobra status. But, oh, sorry, don't want to show you the chest. Look at the traps and look at the neck, right? Come on, Willie, what you doing? Get your wiener butt off that computer and start working out. I'll get it off, dude. Don't worry about me. But this has not been through direct neck work. Although I did try it for a good 1.5 to 2 months. These shoulders, these traps, and the neck, this was all done through overhead pressing, rack pulls, and deadlifts. Those 3 exercises alone. Because what you're doing is you're stretching the neck, right? You're stretching it when you're holding the thing. And then when you're overhead pressing, right, over your head, what that ends up happening is it contracts the muscle. So I'm not trying to show off by any means. Like, this is not a show off. This is not impressive at all. But what I'm trying to get to here is that you don't need to do direct neck work to have a big neck. And to top everything off, to end this live stream, you guys need to understand that Alpha Destiny is in fact a wiener warrior. He doesn't know it. He's a guy that tries to win all the time, and he's succeeded a couple times. I'll give him that. But for the most part, he's lost a bunch of times. And he's trying to run away from all that nonsense by telling people to get bigger necks and to get bigger traps. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. The Weenie Hut is the place to be. If you guys are interested, please stop by on Discord so we can have an honest discussion about what it's like to be a wiener and not a winner. And I hope you guys keep that in mind. I'll see you all tomorrow, and you know the rest. So, goodbye.